2 Samuel 17:23. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass, and arose and gat him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. In chapter 16, the Bible says that Ahithophel's counsel, or advice, was, and I quote, as if a man inquired at the oracle of God, end quote. Ahithophel was one of King David's counselors. He betrayed David in favor of his usurping son Absalom. Ahithophel was a very intelligent man, a strategist. However, he put too much stock in people following his counsel. We know that because of this verse. He gave Absalom advice. Another man, by the name of Hushai, who was actually a spy for David, gave Absalom different advice. Absalom ignored Ahithophel's advice in favor of the other man's, in favor of Hushai's advice. Ahithophel was so accustomed to other people taking his advice as law that he lost his purpose, his reason, his will to live when his advice wasn't taken. Here's a piece of advice from me. Find your purpose in God, in serving Him. He will never fail you. Friends can fail. Jobs can be lost. Money can be stolen. God cannot and will not do any of those things. If you ever wonder why you're here, take it from someone who has, in the past, wondered. God has a plan. Remember that God has a plan for you. Welcome back to Into the Westerly. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a tour of that which you saw me build in the time-lapse. Alright, so, first of all, let's fly up. There you go. This is the racetrack area of the ranch that I'm building. In case you couldn't tell, heavy inspiration from Ocarina of Time. Got the fence. Really cool thing about this fence that I discovered, horses cannot pass between here. They cannot pass between these fences, so I don't have to add more fences that make it look all wonky. I can leave these right here. I have these gates here so the horses can get in and out. Because, in Ocarina of Time, they have the horses in the middle, and then they have the racetrack for the horses to run around in. That was kind of the idea that I had. Also, somebody left a horse here. I don't know who. Somebody left Ferdinand here. I don't know who Ferdinand belongs to, but, at some point I am going to need to airlift some horses in, which I'm going to be using my happy guests for. They're in there. Hello, chicken. There is one horse over on that hill, a white horse. I don't know if it's still there. It seems like it's already been tamed. I'm planning on picking that one up and bringing it over. Gotta airlift in some horses. But yeah, here's the racetrack. You know what? I don't know who left Ferdinand here, but we're going to use him to show the racetrack. He ain't bad. He ain't bad. So yeah, this is the racetrack. Really simple. It's just left turn, left turn, left turn, left turn. See, can't go through there. Can't go through. Can't go through there. Thank you for the demonstration, Ferdinand. Ferdinand. I don't know if that's how it's said. Anyway. Yeah. Now I need to build the stable. Along with the stable, I'm going to be throwing in some grass in here. I'm thinking, I haven't quite decided, I'm considering making a little, watering hole pond thing here. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. Have to look up if that's something that is normally allowed in big fields of horses. There's a spider probably beneath me. That spider is beneath me. I gotta stop saying at the end of everything. It's bad. Oh, hello. There's a ship. Hello, ship. So I'm gonna be putting grass. I gotta stop saying I'm gonna be putting grass here. Sort of like I put the grass in the field here. See this little grass here I put? Maybe bushes, haven't quite decided. I'm going to be putting some grass, I'm going to be putting some firefly bushes, and I need to build this. But before I do that, though, I'm going to be building this stable here. And I'll be real honest, I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to build the stable, how exactly I'm going to build the stable, but you know what? I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go along. We'll throw something up. I know what stables are like. Stable finished. I'll give you a tour of it. One thing I did, built troughs at the water trough over there. That one was significantly easier than the food trough. This one required a lot of armor stand magic, and that was annoying, and I tried to put more in here, but then it was interfering with the others, and I can't put any more here or it'll interfere with the others, so that's that. That's the feed that they get, that the horses get. Also, somebody moved Ferdinand into the... I'll say somebody. I know who did it. Okay, it was Stint. Moved Ferdinand into the stable. I assume that means he is a permanent resident. So I named his stall. This is now Ferdinand's stall. Now, next on the list. You might think next on the list is airlifting horses. No. Next on the list, and I'm going to need to get more food and rockets pretty soon, is... How did that not hurt me? Okay. Next on the list is digging a path, making a path to the front of the thing here, around there. And I'm going to build a house here. That's going to be the house of the horse master, the guy who's in charge of the ranch. So I'm going to need oak slabs. There they are. Sorry. Got a long path to carve out. I gotta get the path from there, bring it up all the way. I don't know exactly. I gotta figure out how I want to make this path. I gotta bring it up and then up this mountain or that, but bring it up in here. Then make it go around there. And I'm gonna be making a path. I already sort of mapped it out on the map we have. Path I'm gonna be making, it's gonna run by Longbow's house, and then it's gonna meet up with Rico's area over there eventually. Hold the phone. Yeah, so I'm gonna make the path. Make the path. Hey, look, there's one of my guests. I don't remember exactly how I planned it out, but it's gonna run right by Longbow's there. Gonna run through here, and it's gonna meet up with this bridge here. That's my idea for the path. Come up over here, go around there, and around there, something like that. And I'm gonna build a house for the horseman, horse owner, horse master, I don't know. the ranch runner owner thingy person. So yeah. Let me refill my rockets. And yeah, carrots. There we go. Now, let's get digging. Alright, so I just got the the ranch owner's house done. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of tour. We got his fireplace, his chair here, a bunch of books, carpet, table, kitchen. I forgot to put a trapdoor on the trash can. Okay. Sink, all his stuff, storage, stove, whatnot. A little sitting area, which you would think that like his lonely chair would be up here and the sitting area would be down there, but I don't know, I just decided to build it that way. And his sleeping area. And I'm gonna have to sleep in his sleeping area because it's nighttime. Who is he? Doesn't really exist. He's completely imaginary. Yeah, let me give you a bit of a walkthrough. Path. Oh, that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, why not? So I put the path here, leads up to here, to the gate. Go around here. I made this stone thing because it can't go straight down the slope here. So it just goes along, and that doesn't look quite right, but that's okay. It's okay. You have the path here. Goes up from the original path that was over there. I just extended it, and then I dug through the mountain because again, you couldn't just go up the slope, kind of steep. Follow the path. There's a straight happy ass. Let it be. Connects up with Longbow's house. Path goes around here, and then it meets up with Rico's bridge. Now, I had originally meant to airlift using my happy gas. I originally planned to airlift horses in. The problem is, in order to do that, I need boats, and horses don't fit in boats, which I did not realize until just now. So, I'm just going to have to ride the horses over there. See you on the flip side. Alright, so, horses have been wrangled. Among other things. I'll show you the horses that I've got and then explain why my armor looks different. Alright. So, obviously, Ferdinand has been here from the get-go. I'm going to do this just because I can. I collected a bunch of horses from random places that were just kind of sitting around. I got my donkey in here. Here's my old horse. Like your old horse? What happened to your what happened to him? Why aren't you using him? I'll have to explain that here in a second. And I just started breeding them up to get strong, fast horses. These are the strongest, fastest horses in the stable. These here are like the weakest for Ferdinand. Actually, I think he falls in with the strongest. I don't know who brought him here. I think it was Stint, and if I'm not mistaken, Stint had a horse breeding operation he was doing for a while, so if I had to guess, Ferdinand is the cream of that crop. Yeah, I named them all. We got Brunhilde, Corinna, Lance. Lance has been named for a while. Meliora, Jackson, Gallagher. What else do we have? We have Champion, we have Mason, we have Guinevere, and we have Halcyon. I don't know, that's how I pronounce it. That's just because I wanted to. So yeah,
Those are the horses in the stable. Now, this is why Lance is no longer my horse. Because I have a mule now. This is Wayfinder. Say hi, Wayfinder. He's my mule. He is going to be my mount from now on. Why is that? Well, since I finished Castle Greenlee, I've been getting ideas for building other stuff that aren't part of Greenlee. And also, just sort of based off other things that I've done and such, I've been considering this for a while. Long story short, I've decided to become a wanderer, and I prepared a little bit of a lore dump to explain that. Enjoy, thank you for watching, and until we meet again in time. Long have I dwelt in Greenlee. The words of the wanderer ring in my mind. If the thought comes again, and it seems you can no longer shake the calling of the nomadic kind like us, you will find what you need on the roof of the Keep of Anointment. Perhaps the time has come. I will need to leave Westerly someday. I will never give up my dream of returning home, I promise. Perhaps the time has come to finally tell the story of my time in Westerly, and of how I came to Greenlee. When I first arrived in Westerly, it was far more untamed. The houses of Ormine, Saltshaw, Cobblestone, Bark, and Greenlee did not exist. There was only one house, the House of Notch. It was into this world that I came. As with the other times, I made a life. Different from the other times, Westerly was inhabited. I learned to work with the people, but I did not try to make very close friends with them. I built small machines that would aid the people in their daily lives. Nothing big, though. I became known as Jerry the Tinkerer despite tending to stay aloof. Some of the people would not let me. They befriended me. My life was peaceful. A small thought, one I suppressed immediately, began to form. Perhaps I would stay there. Alas, it was not to be. Everything changed in the blink of an eye. Rumors began to spread that an ancient evil had returned, a three-headed beast, a harbinger of decay and undeath. I had heard of it before. Indeed, I had fought and defeated it before. The battle I speak of was not easy by any means, but it was not exceptionally difficult either. I did not understand the people's fears. Nevertheless, I knew it would be a threat, and I prepared accordingly. I prepared my weapons and armor, enchanting them as much as possible. I stocked up on arrows for my crossbows. I brewed potions and tipped my arrows with them. Ironically, potions of healing do to the undead what potions of harming do to us, the living. Anyway, I also gathered powerful foodstuffs, mostly golden apples. I was not content with that, though. I have written of this briefly before. There was a wanderer that lived in Westerly at the time. She was not someone we could simply visit, but there was a monument to her in the wilderness. I went in search of that monument. Tales said that a source of food more powerful than golden apples could be found there. It was said to be the food of the wanderers. Tales also said that no one dared to take this food for fear of incurring the wanderer's wrath. Not one to put much stock in superstition, but desperate enough to hope, I found the monument. As the tales had predicted, there sat a golden apple, but this golden apple was more than that. A purple glow shimmered across its surface. As my fingers touched the fruit, a woman's voice arrested me. It was sharp and commanding, reprimanding me for stealing. It belonged to the wanderer, the one who hides her face. I explained my situation to her, and she agreed to let me take an enchanted golden apple. I returned to the village into my bunker, and waited. Finally, the beast appeared, a wither, or perhaps the wither. It ransacked the village, infecting every living thing it struck with a disease known as the withering. I emerged from my bunker, fully armored, sword in one hand, shield in the other. My crossbows were on my back. My potions were on my belt, a quiver of arrows slung around my waist. I launched my counterattack. As I charged the beast, I knew that I could not fight it in the city. I watched as humans and animals alike succumbed to the withering, but they left no body. Those who died to the withering morphed into black flowers, known as wither roses. I got the wither's attention, drawing it into the open field. Using my crossbows, I pelted it with a barrage of healing arrows. It cast its explosive heads at me. Eventually, I dealt enough damage that it felt the need to get up close and personal. It dropped to the ground, enveloped by a force field that repelled arrows. With a noise that sounded like an unholy combination of a hiss and a groan, it charged me, hurling an explosive head. I rolled to the side but misjudged the attack. It was aimed at the ground, not me directly. The blast sent me flying a few yards. Something strange and simply wrong grew within me. The beast bellowed in triumph. It sensed the disease. I realized what had happened. I was infected. The withering was gnawing at my life force. I would not give up, though. I fought the urge to sleep and jumped up. The wither had already risen to the skies again, shedding its force field. I shot an arrow at it, reminding it that I was not finished. The force field came back up, and the chase renewed. This time, I led it into a forest. I dodged and wove through the trees. The wither was much less graceful, tearing through wood and leaf. I was able to outmaneuver and ambush it. Slowly, I whittled its life away, but it would not last. At long last, the withering became stronger than the adrenaline. My limbs grew heavy, I stumbled and fell. The wither, certain now of its victory, rose into the sky with a bellow, dropping the force field once more. I reached for my quiver and discovered only one arrow. I could not even load it into my crossbow. I thought that was it. I could feel my life force draining away, reduced to a trickle. Darkness began to close in. Sleep was so inviting. Then, through the fog of disease and decay, I saw something shining. My satchel that held my food had fallen open, and the wanderer's gift lay in the fading twilight. With one last push, I took the enchanted golden apple and bit into it. That one bite was all I needed. A warmth to oppose the withering surged through me. It chased away the darkness and replaced it with light. With a newfound strength and a roar to rival the withers, I loaded my last arrow into my crossbow and shot it at the wither. That arrow was the final straw. The wither moaned once and turned to dust, leaving behind its heart the nether star. I reached out to claim my prize, and got ripped through time. I woke up in a field of grass with no weapons, no armor, and no resources. As I looked around in a daze, I met Phoebe. She was the one who first welcomed me to Greenlee. Over time, I learned that my battle was 500 years in the past. As I revisited my old village, I found a castle had been built over it. I also discovered that whoever built the castle knew about my bunker, as there was a secret passage built into the walls that led to my bunker. So I became the caretaker of Castle Greenlee, Greenlee's bastion in dire need. As I wrap up this tale, I ask, is it time to leave Westerly? The answer is no. Not yet, that is. There's still so much to see and explore. No, I am not yet leaving Westerly. I am, however, leaving Greenlee. I have decided to become a wanderer, and I know where my first stop will be. There is an island near the Saltshawian outpost of Kuala Azul that is said to be haunted. As I have already written, I am not one to put much stock in superstition. However, what cannot be denied is that the island is home to innumerable shipwrecks, and even more have simply disappeared there.